Welcome to this video. This is the part third of introduction written by Ibn Khaldun. That book was written 600 years ago, talks about history, psychology, and much more. This is the video third of that whole education that I've learned from that book, the whole information, I've learned from this book. So make sure to first hit that subscribe button if you want to continue this series, if you want me to continue this series. And now let's directly go on the formula of success. Right? The formula of how you can find that path, how you can fine tune that path. And you know what? I'm just creating that thing in a very slow manner so that you would be able to internalize in a more deeper fashion, right? Let us recap what we have learned in the previous video, right? So in the previous video, we have talked about the basic humans perspectives, right? So we have covered two perspectives, from which the internal perspective, that is the creation perspective, was there. Right? And creation perspective, when cause motion, this perspective is not done by human itself. This perception is done by a different human power, which is inside the human, which is called the soul or spirit. Right? This spirit has the power to go up till the last stage of human and the first stage of another entity that is more pure, that have much more power than humans have, and that is the angels. And you might be thinking that this is a philosophical class, or I'm just talking about Abrahamic religions or the theology. No, this is pure psychology, right? And I might not say this as psychology, because this is not a part of psychology in itself, but yeah, it is more or less a guide in a different way, in a different perspective that you've never ever watched before on YouTube, all for you, from a book which was, believe it or not, I'm talking everything not from a research paper. I'm talking about a book that was 600 years old. And this is teaching you some great thing that will in turn become actionable steps, but in the later videos, right? So human creation, that is the soul and the spirit, will go to the last stage of human. And if you don't know what's the last stage and the first stage, we have one thing that is I'm putting the link of the second and the first video in the description down below. So I put it in the description. Now, the soul and the spirit, okay, the power of creation. The power of creation perspective, that is soul and spirit, will go on a path, go on a journey, and that journey will lead you to the last stage of human being, the last stage of humans, and the first stage of the angelic creation. This angelic creation, what Ibn Khaldun talk about it, let me just read it so that you would have a broader perspective of how everything is connected with the book. So you can just go and read the book in the description as well. So I'm just putting the PDF of that book written by Ibn Khaldun. Its Arabic name is Al-Muqaddimah, and you can read it, the English version of it, in the description as well. I've put it in the description as well. Now, these are my notes, which I have shared in the first class. Now, there is something spiritual. It is connected with the created things because the various world must be connected in their existence. And this spiritual thing is soul, which has a perception and cause motion. So everything which has a perception, for example, you are growing in a certain subject. How you're growing in it? You are learning, you are having a perception of it, and it goes into motion. It moves within your brain, and from brain, it goes to other people's brain as well. So why there's a thing that if you will share knowledge, your knowledge will increase. Because knowledge in itself have motion. Because it's a perception. It's an internal perception that has motion to it. So if you will transit your knowledge into other people, it will move, it will propagate, just like sound propagates, right? How sound propagate. And you know what? This is very important. Now, above the soul, there must exist something else that gives the soul the power of perception and motion, and this is also connected with it. Its essence should be pure perception and absolute intellection. This world is of the world of angel. The world of angel, yes. Consequently, must be prepared to exchange humanity for angelacity in order actually become a part of angelic species at a certain time in the flash of a moment. Now, let me just clear why he said in a flash of a moment. Because everything that he said is because he wanted to explain a thing called revelation. It is purely connected with Muslim beliefs. In Muslims, prophets, like we have Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had revelations on him. So revelation is a process in which an angel came and, speak the divine verse with the power of Almighty, and then Prophet would have just transmit that into other people. So he was explaining this, but I'm not explaining this to you. I'm not explaining what the process of revelation and how it came and go, because it was with the prophets in the past. I'm talking about the actuality of human, how a human can transform into an angelic spirit. And this is not possible without death. So I'm not, killing you, of course. This is a journey. I'm not interested in this. I'm interested more in the journey. So this is the journey. This is the journey. These are the milestone in which I am very much interested. And this milestone is basically your life. Because without passing your life, without, achieving death, your spirit cannot go to angelic world, right? It is impossible, at least for humans. If you believe in religion, of course, that was possible with the prophets. If you're an atheist, just skip this part. And now, let me just cover it in a different sense and just think about it. Human soul has to be perfect in something in order to get this last stage. When we're talking about evolutionary part in the previous video, we had said that every creation's last stage, which is much more complex, have to achieve something much complex than that to achieve the first stage of the next species. So we are talking about a basic scientific process that is I'm just explaining the complexity of human nature. So first we have a mineral. Let's say we have a mineral, which is the last stage of atom. So maybe we have a mineral of iron or nitrogen, let's say. Nitrogen is N. We have minerals of nitrogen made up of millions of nitrogen atoms. So we have nitrogen atoms. Wait a minute. We have minerals of nitrogen atoms, right? These minerals in turn make much more complex thing, right? Or let us take the carbon, that will create a much more effect, right? So we have carbon atom, which is translated and become a more complex thing into a carbon mineral. And then this carbon mineral will go and form what? A plant. A simple plant, which is much more complex than that of carbon. So maybe it produces glucose, which is C6H12O6. It is much more complex than this. This was complex as well, but compared to this was the first stage, this was the last. But this was the first stage, and this was the last, and then this become the first stage, and the more complex trees will become the last. I'm talking about the added complexity that you need in order to go to that phase. Same thing occurs in human body as well. In human body, let me just erase it first. So we have two kind of motions in a human. I'm talking about growth motion first, is from sensual perception. The sensual perception are everything that you see. So I'm writing it in short form, right? Everything that you see, the external conditions that you have, everything with which you grow and you will get older and older and older. And this sensual perception the catalyst, or you can say the entity that is required for the sensual perception is your body, right? And it will in turn make you a decay in the land after you die, or you can say earth. After you die, and the game will over, right? It's a limited growth, right? Which will not make you anything but soil, right? Now, we have another set of motion that I am more interested in, and that is creation motion, where you create perspective, you grow in it, you catch other people's perspective, and you make yourself more perfect to go to that level, which is the last stage of the perception, last stage of the human creation, and the first stage of the angelic world. So the creation perception, and this is, this is, you can say, the catalyst will be your soul or your spirit, right? And this will lead you to where? The angelicity, in the angelic world. You can say, yes, angelic world, and this will be termed as angelicity in the book. Okay, so what do you need in order to succeed? What other people will say: earn money, buy a car, do this, invest here, invest there, do this and that stuff. Everything is important. Everything is required, right? This will ultimately be of no use after you will go here, after your death. But if with these sensual perception that you will have in your future, of course you will achieve all of this. But if you like here, it will just create a loophole in your personality, and your personality will never shine out. So the angelic world, you have to go, and the path will be absolutely crazy. This is not as simple as here because this is external validation. Here you have to first start with an internal conflict, the internal situation, and only then you will be able to remember it even after ages and ages. So this is the path of purpose. And you know what? I'm not talking about attaining this path 100% because nobody can do this 100%, right? What I'm saying is at least get 10% of it. If you at least can get 10% of this purpose, it will be more than good, more than important, you can say more than fulfilled for your life. Even a 10% of purpose can change you because you will move in this direction, right? Direction is important. If growth is on this side and I am working very hard on this side, no matter whatever I do it, I will never reach to my full potential because my growth is on this side. Similarly, what other people are doing and what you don't have to do is people are moving this side more, right? They are trying to achieve this side more, neglecting this side. If you can keep a balance, you can have this as well. You can get at least a little bit of this. It will change your life. How to go on this path, how to walk on this path is very hard, but it is quite attainable. And I have a plan for it. And I will going to share it in the next video. So bear with me. Okay, so one more important thing that I want to tell you right here is this path, which is the sensual perception, has its limit, and that limit is the limit of thinking. So a human being could think, you might be thinking before this video that thinking lies here, but no, thinking lies here, right? And that is the whole purpose of, differentiating EQ, that is emotional quotient, with the IQ, that is intelligent quotient. Do you know why? Because these are two different things, right? Internally, of course, they are connected with it because it's all a part of human. But you know what? Thinking is the you can say the utmost part of sensual perception, while creation's outmost thing is purpose, is fulfilling that purpose. And purpose also have a different thing, which I will tell you in the next video with the help of a lot of examples. While this would be the end of Al-Muqaddimah, I'm talking about a book which was written 600 years ago by an Arab scholar, and he was a very known Arab scholar, right? Al-Muqaddimah was a great book written by a great person, and it talks about this much. I mean, much more than this. Maybe I could cover more important lessons and things from that book in the future, but for this series, we are done with this book, Al-Muqaddimah, and we have extracted as much as we can. This much is there. Now the journey ahead, from here onwards, we will gonna explore one more important thing that might become in the coming future, not now. So at this moment, the series is paused. We have completed 3 consecutive, you can say, videos in the playlist, but this playlist will continue with a full-fledged video, maybe 1 hour plus, maybe in parts, where I will tell you how you can find this purpose. And what could be the master plan to find that purpose? How you could achieve it in your day-to-day life, how to excel in your goal, and how to align it properly with the help of a lot of books, starting with The Alchemist. That is what I'm going to tell you right now. Starting with The Alchemist, then we will go more and deeper into it as you subscribe to this channel. So make sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because you have these sort of valuable information which you might not get anywhere in the YouTube, right? And now, we have an ebook as well. If you start journey knowing yourself, at least from a very vague way, I can say that, in a very shallow way, you can read my ebook, which is in the description. And this ebook is free, absolutely free, whether you are a hero or a villain. And I will also give the 5-step. I also gave 5-step of how you can become a hero. The full video is there as well on the channel, so if you watch that video, you will have a better understanding of whether you are a hero or a villain. Plus, if you haven't commented down yet, commenting is very important. Maybe like this. Commenting is very important. Without comments, engagement will not increase, metrics will be paused, and many more people will be out of this valuable information. So make sure to comment down in the comment section below and like if you want, right? This is the end of this video. Fuzail, signing off.